Prophetic Dream, November 19th, 2024. Um, oh, precious Lord, I thank you for revealing this dream back to me. So this dream was in multiple parts. Oh my gosh. So in one part of the dream, there was a bunch of people who were very well dressed, and they were getting to know each other, and I was among them. They were dressed, many of them were dressed as fancy as they could possibly be dressed, but it was almost like the Beverly Hillbillies or something. It was like poor people that really didn't know how to be um, well dressed and highfalutin and all that stuff. And so I was among them, trying to get to know them as well. And as has always been the case throughout my life, I'm such a reject and I'm so antisocial. Everyone started getting to know each other, and I was just standing there with, like, in the middle of all these people all alone. And then, to my surprise, quite a few of them. Okay, so to my surprise, quite a few of them ended up starting talking to me and hobnobbing with me, just getting to know me as well. So I ended up not being left out of the conversation. I believe all of these people were TIs, by the way. The next thing I know, um, we were in a stadium, and I don't. We were in a stadium for like a massive conference or something. I don't know what for. And I remember I had a baby, and I remember I was standing there with my baby because I couldn't find a seat, and I was like, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then some guy came up and gave me a seat for me and the baby. Um, so I think this has to do with us TIs being raised up. So because of all the abuse that we've had to tolerate, it has made us antisocial. I've always been antisocial, even before the program, because I've been through so much abuse, and it affects people differently. But it really made me very difficult for me to get along with people. Um, in this dream, I remember the thought that if you multiply one of these people times the another person, it's like if you multiply two TIs together, you get this explosive power. It's like a huge bomb. And that seemed to be confirming what I have been teaching in my and preaching, what the Lord has had me teaching and preaching in my channel, which is if I were to get even one TI to follow what God has me teaching and preaching to the letter without fail, with tithes and offerings, with praying 2.5 hours a day, and we unite, and I was like meditating on the word love written in light, and in this way casting all the targeting on the Lord, that the power of God would manifest exponentially. It would be like an explosion. But so far, nobody who's followed my channel has done that. Um, so I think that God's going to be, I believe, and I did pray for interpretation. I believe that the Lord's going to be raising up TIs. Um, this program's going to come to an end. I don't know when, hopefully soon. But we're going to have normal lives, if you will. And we're going to get along with each other. Um, I won't be alone anymore. Um, there might have been something else in the dream too, because this is another. I don't do this all the time, but sometimes I'll have dreams where every time I get up to go pee, I'm in the middle of sort of the same dream, but in a different part of the same dream or a different aspect of the same dream. And those dreams can be really amazing and challenging at the same time to remember all of them. It's like a series of dreams. Um, I'm trying to think. There was probably something else, and if the Lord brings it back to me and gives me the interpretation, I'll do a separate video on that part of the dream. So I do want to throw out there, you guys, pay your tithes and offerings. Okay. Malachi chapter 3 says, "You are cursed with a curse because you are robbing me. The whole nation of you are robbing me of tithes and offerings." It's one of the reasons why God gave Judah over to the Babylonians. Jesus in Matthew 25 says that you're cursed if you're not helping the poor. And then Ezekiel in Ezekiel 16:48-49 says, "This was the sin of your sister Sodom. She had pride, excess of food, prosperous ease, and she did not aid the poor and the needy." So if you are not helping the poor and the needy, you are committing one of the abominations of Sodom and Gomorrah. You guys aren't experiencing the mighty power of the Most High God making this program a joke for you, like he does for me, because you guys fall under this curse, because you're robbing God, because you're committing one of the abominations of Sodom and Gomorrah. And so start doing it, you guys. Make sacrifices. Don't make excuses. I've seen too many TIs who tell me, "I can't afford to pay tithes and offerings. I can't afford to help the poor. I can't afford to sponsor children in the third world who might starve to death." And it's because you're spending your money on memberships, cable, subscriptions, vacations, cruises, new clothes when the clothes you have are perfectly fine, and other junk you don't need to survive. Paul says your life is to be a living sacrifice. That means financially as well. Paul says if you have food and clothing, you are to be content with that. UTIs are spending your money on all kinds of junk that's not just for basics, on all kinds of junk you don't need, and that money could go to the poor to help save lives. So don't make excuses. Start making sacrifices. Pray 2.5 hours a day, every single day. These two things alone will will result in the Holy Spirit of God manifesting himself, meaning that you will know God is working in your life, fighting this program, making a joke of this program for you. I send out my love to all y'all beautiful born again TIs. God bless.